So today we'll be talking about fostering inclusive community and also empowering voices, right, for creativity and innovation. So this topic, it's a little bit, I don't want to say tricky, but you need to just understand, like, contains like a lot of things, right? We have like the part that talks about like fostering inclusive community, and also we have the part that also explain why do we even need inclusion in the first place. Then we will now move forward to the part talking about empowering diverse voices for creativity and also how we can use them for innovations, right? So let's get right into it. Bio, I think you've heard like enough already about me. I'm Idris Olubisi. I'm a software engineer, technical writer, and also currently a developer relations engineer, and the founder of Web3 Africa, technical, and I do tons of community activities. And yeah, I'm super excited to be here once again. So let's get started. So I just want to quickly highlight like something what are the things we want to talk about or we would like to cover in this presentation is we'll talk about the concept of inclusion in the first place, and also we talk about the impact of diversity on innovation, empowerment of diverse voices, and also strategies. We talk about some strategies to build inclusive community, and challenges in fostering inclusive communities. What are some of these challenges, and then how do we tend to solve them? And then we'll also mention or discuss what are some of like the future of inclusive community, the impacts, the benefits, and of course, you know, summarize the whole presentation for you to understand everything that was covered during the presentation. So moving on, we have the first one, which is the concept of inclusion, right? What exactly is inclusion in the first place? We are trying to talk about fostering inclusion within communities. Excuse me. We talk about fostering inclusion within the community, right? What is this concept all about? So the concept of inclusion is ensuring that everyone has access, like same access to opportunities, to resources, regardless of any factors that may lead to their exclusion or marginalization. So in simple terms, like what this means is that you are part of the discussion. So when I mean you are part of discussion, if you're part of a community, or you're part of a group, or you're part of any ecosystem, how everyone having the same access within this community, having the same opportunity, having the same resources, regardless of anything, is what we mean by inclusion. So you are included within that particular ecosystem. In fact, it goes beyond just ecosystem or community. This can also be included as part of, you know, what you're doing within the country, included what you're doing within the continent, inclusion on what you're doing globally, like on a global scale. If you are included in all of these activities that you are doing. Okay. I'm not sure. My network seems fine, but can you confirm, hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I see Absalam saying something. Yeah, but it's fine. All right, so since you can hear me, let's continue. Right. So that's what inclusion mean, right? But how does inclusion promote in the community? How can you promote inclusion itself? So generally, it promotes a sense of belonging, right? And also respect for diversity and ensures everyone's voices are heard, right? So promote a sense of belonging. Of course, you know, when you matter to people, when you have these things that is called inclusion within a particular community, giving access to everyone within the community. Yeah, giving access, sorry for that quote. So giving access to the community, it promotes, like inclusion generally, promotes a sense of belonging and respect for diversity. Of course, you know, when you're part of a community, when you maybe make a suggestion and you have like responses, feedback, and you guys collaborate on how to make that suggestion work or how to bring that idea to life, it create some sense of belonging for whosoever recommend that solution or made that suggestion, right? And also, it also means that it ensures that everyone voices his head. So irrespective of, the background, the kind of group you are, or the language you speak, but if you are within the community and inclusion is taken to place, like it's taken as a priority, then your voice will be heard. But there's a systematic barrier to inclusion, and this includes prejudice and discrimination and lack of visibility for underrepresented groups. So this is not limited to just within your community. If, for example, we have like any continent generally, but of course every continent or every country have like underrepresented group. So that's like a barrier on its own to inclusion, right? And also discrimination. This person is not my color. This person is not my type. This person does not speak my language. This person is not native, or this person, it doesn't come from my own village or something like that. There are all sorts of discrimination, which I'll also be talking about on how we can, break those barriers, and also some of these things that could help us grow significantly as a community, and also benefiting the impact of inclusion within any community. So now we've talked about like what inclusion means, and also we mentioned a barrier, a specific barrier that is behind inclusion generally. So now let's talk about impact of diversity in innovation, right? Which goes back to like empowering diverse voices for creativity and innovation, which is like our topic, right? So the impact of diversity on innovation. First, let's talk about the impact part, right? Where diverse groups are often, wider range of experience and perspective, simulating creativity and innovation. Because when you have a diverse group, you could get like ideas, you could get like creativity, you have like access to wide range of experiences and perspective from different people, because of course it's a diverse group and we have like different people within that particular group. So this person might say from a standpoint A, this person would say from a standpoint B. That's like one of the most impactful way of creativity or getting innovations, right? Another one is Google Diversity Report that shows that teams with diverse gender, racial, ethnic makeup produce more innovative results. For you to understand or see why it is important for having a diverse group and making a significant impact. So it could be within a community, it could be within a group, with, of course, with this report showing that people with a teams generally, not even people, right? Teams or group with a diverse gender and racial have produced more innovative results, right? So either they are building something, they're trying to solve a problem within the tech ecosystem, they're trying to build something for the financial space, they tend to have more innovative results because they have like different backgrounds, and they tell from every standpoint if that particular solution would work and some of the changes they need to make that particular solution work, right? Additionally, taking advantage of diversity for innovation includes creating safe dialogue, right? Safe dialogue spaces there. Of course, as a group, as a community, we'll have like ups and downs, we have ideas throwing around, we have like, a lot of suggestions coming in, yeah, do this, don't do this, do that. But taking advantage of diversity itself would create like a very safe space for dialogue, for you to, throw ideas around and without, going into conflict. And also, it helps to foster like collaborative culture and actively seeking diverse perspective. So collaborative culture here is, when you tend to, include everyone into the discussion, and also having people from different backgrounds or different perspective, or people throwing ideas from their own perspective, you tend to have foster that collaboration, culture within your community. So they don't see it as an attack. They don't see it as, oh, this person does not want me to talk, or this person said what I'm thinking or talking about doesn't make any sense. And without proving or providing like an alternative way to solve it, but they see it as something like oh yeah, we are collaborating on this thing and we need to get this done. So it means that we can throw ideas, and if it doesn't work, fine, we can, find a workaround around it, and also build that culture over time. Now, moving on to empowerment of diverse, voices, right? Which is also going back to the topic of discussion today, right? Now we've understand what impact diverse voices would make in a community, in a group, or in a team. So, how about the empowerment of these voices, right? How about the empowerment, which is what I want to talk about now. So empowerment ensure like underrepresented voices are heard, number one, and also they are not just heard, but they are valued, and also they have influence decision making. So when you empower these diverse voices, right? Um, Especially the underrepresented voices, right? They are heard. They also give some sort of value, and they influence decision making within a particular group or a team. So when diverse voices are empowered, right, community benefit from a richer mix of idea and perspective, and also culture, right? We have different background. We have people from different background, of course. We have people from different cultural background also. We have people from different states, people from countries, region, and all of that. If we have empowerment that empowers like these voices from underrepresented areas, and they come together as a community to talk about innovative ideas, to build innovative solutions, if those voices are heard and empowered correctly, the community will benefit a lot from having those diverse group, share ideas and also make impacts within the community. So does this even make sense? Like, does that even make sense at all? I've mentioned like how to impact, how you know uh, people from different backgrounds could come together and build something amazing, and also how it's important for you to empower, underrepresented voices. Please, you can just respond on the chat session if what I've been saying at all makes any sense, and also you are able to relate with it or not. All right. So while you are sharing all of this message, let me just proceed. Thank you all for responding. And another one is, which is like the most important part of fostering inclusion within community, and also empowering diverse voices for creativity and innovation. Uh, this majorly focus on some of this strategy to build this type of inclusive community, right? So for strategies for building inclusive community are: one, actively seeking a diverse perspective. So this by default foster a culture of respect, right, and openness within that community, and not just respect and openness within the community, but also ensuring equal opportunities for all, either you're a male, you're a female, or any other gender. Within that particular community, your voice is heard, right? So these are like some of the strategy that needs to be put in place for you to have inclusive community, right? Another one is community practices, right? Celebrating cultural events from different communities. Of course, I mentioned that we have like people from different background, people from different, region, and it makes a lot of sense when you celebrate all of these cultural activities. Maybe they have a particular holiday, or they have a particular, activities going on in their region. But because they are part of that community, it's for you to celebrate their own cultural events, give some sense of, belong for them as a member, or as a member of a group, or as a member of a community, or as a member of a team, right? So it also helps to promote like understanding and interaction between various. So you start to see idea about, I learned about this particular cultural event. happening? Are you guys still doing it? All those kind of conversation is because the community itself celebrates all of these cultural events happening globally, and also some of these that kind of attached to their members. So it gets to like foster that interaction between different social groups to talk about what they are doing from this background and what this person is also doing from this background. Another one is inclusion, requires action at all levels. So this means that you need to include individual, you need to include organization, or like organization, and also um, uh, societal programs or societal activities generally. So this doesn't mean, because I keep mentioning like communities, and then you exclude like individuals, or you exclude like organizations basically. So if you have, we see like clubs, we see like all of these like big clubs, I would say, where you have like influential people. Those influential people have their own organization, or they have founded a company or a product. That particular club, I know, we used to have like golf club, and if you check the club, you check the caliber of people within that club, you'll see that they are founders, they are well known person, they are influentials and all of that. So that kind of community, if you really want to, put in foster inclusion within that particular community, then it means that you need to include not just the individual, and also the organization that individual is part of. Maybe as a founder, as a CEO, as a C-level person, or somebody that leads a particular department within the organization. And also moving it down to the societal level, where you could have maybe a particular group within the society that are doing really well at what they do. Maybe it's in fact, it could be a local group, but you want to have like a community or a group of people that includes all of this society themselves. You need to, think about how to include them into discussion, how to foster inclusiveness, right, within that particular community, by giving them their own voice, supporting them, and understanding what they need at the grassroots level, and then leveraging on how to make it better, or how to bring everyone together, promoting collaboration between this community, promoting collaboration and giving like equal opportunity for everyone within that particular community or a group. So now let's talk about the challenges. We've seen like the previous one that we mentioned, which is like some of the strategies that can be implemented. But yeah, to be honest, there are so many challenges that do arise, right, when you want to like foster inclusiveness, right, within the communities. So I'll mention a few, but might not be limited to this, because this is like just an highlight of like what some of these challenges are. There might be some other ones that are native to a particular um, community, and there are some that are just like challenges globally. So, right, uh, main one here, which I kind of combine together, is number one, is bias and prejudice, right? Biasness, being biased, please. I think that's like corruption, basically, because at some point, if you are biased, then it means that it will be very, very difficult. So when I mean you, I mean maybe you are the lead community manager, or you are the founder of that community, or the co-organizer of that community. And if you are biased in decision making, then it's a big problem for you to foster inclusion within that particular community, because at some point this challenge at some point will definitely influence your decision making when you want to carry out any activities, because you're biased with this group from this background. It means that if they have activities they are planning, or they have a proposal, you debunk all of those things, because of course you are biased and you feel you understand the whole thing better. So this is like a very important not very important, like the top challenges when it comes to fostering inclusive community, right, and empowering diverse voices for creativity and innovation, right? So Another one which is part of this statement is lack of representation. It's kind of similar to being biased, right? But another key thing to note here, which is categorized under lack of representation, is if you have like a group, a big community, and that community have like a sub community, maybe from other countries or from other states, and there are specific region that you need to have like someone actively doing something there. But yeah, because of lack of representation, you don't have like who you could like leverage on to represent that community, which this could also give a major challenge. So, for example, you are in a country where they are underrepresented, but because maybe you are in a developed country, instead of assigning or look for someone that could lead their community and then support them with the resources that are required, but you tend to want to do that thing from where you are, which means that you might not be able to touch grass compared to somebody that is within that community. That means you are not giving visibility, and that particular community is lacking somebody to represent them. So this is one major challenge when it comes to talking about building a global brand or building a global community that have different regions. And finally, is unequal access to resources, right? Of course, there will always be founders, there will always be C-level guys, people that make decision. But yes, if you are giving resources to a particular group within the community, maybe because they pay more, I don't know, I don't think payment should be part of it, right? But if they are part of the community, maybe because of their background, you like listen to them more and you give them like access to resources while abandoning the other side of the community, maybe because you don't really have access to them or you are not comfortable chatting with them or discussing or flow with them like as you used to, as you are supposed to, rather. So that is also a major challenge when it comes to fostering, inclusive community. Unequal access to resources is a big challenge. So moving on, yeah, that's not fair actually. That's not fair, to be honest, because you understand that if you are doing all of these things, there's no way you could foster inclusion within your community. To be honest, there's no way, because until you tend to fix those things from the grassroots level, then you will now start to realize what you have been missing out, carrying along other community members. So I'm not talking about you building like a community in your school. In fact, yeah, you can even use school as a reference, right? Because if you are organizing a particular project or activity or a movement in your school, of course, you have people from different background. I think school is even a very good example to touch on for people that are students on this call, where you have an maybe a departmental organization or a movement that you're leading, and then because this person is from this particular language and is actually a good fit for the person to lead maybe as a security as a secretary general or as the vice president or as the financial person, but yet because of the person's background or maybe the person does not speak your language, you just feel, oh no, let me just find somebody that speaks my language. So this is one big thing, because that way, if the person is part of your community and the person is fit for that role, and you are not using the person because of language barriers or closeness or it's not my friend and all of those things, it means that there's no way you can foster inclusiveness within your community to include everyone and make sure that no one is set aside for any reason, right? So now, what does the future hold for inclusive communities, right? After implementing all of these things, like, is this something to look out for? Is there anything to look out for when you are doing your best to make sure that you foster inclusiveness within your community? Yeah, there are things to look out for. The long-term vision is to create inclusive community where everyone feels a sense of belonging, has equal access to opportunity, and their voices are valued. So now that's a long-term goal, and which you can also call like the future of you know inclusive communities, right? Another one is the utilization of technology such as AI which of course has the potential to diminish it, but to diminish like the biases in recruitment processes, leading to like enhanced inclusivity, right? So you can leverage technology to also um, address this problem. So maybe you have like a recruitment process that needs to, you know, of course, trained technology would probably be trained on a particular data set, which is enabling everyone for any background, screening them, scanning them, and then bringing them, up for an interview. So this would, of course, diminish the biasness when it comes to recruitment process. Hey, this person is from my town. This person is not from my town. This person is far away. Oh, I don't think I want to have anything to do with anyone from this region. All of those things are like things that could be easily eradicated or moved out from um, when it comes to recruitment processes. And of course, this will lead to an enhanced inclusivity, right, within that particular community, within that particular team or a group. Another one here, which is the last on the list, is so let's encourage everyone to challenge their biases and then actively seek out for diverse perspectives and advocate for equal opportunity and representation. So let's all encourage this. The best way to start is to just start putting all of these things into practice and understanding like this problem exists, so that you can be able to set aside or give yourself that readiness mindset that, oh, this thing exists and how do we tend to fix it? Let's start fixing it from the grassroots. Then over time, you get to overcome all of these things and include and foster inclusion within your community. Yes, so I've said quite a lot, right? From what inclusion impact to the challenges to strategies, and also to how you can, what does the future hold for, inclusive community. So to summarize everything is number one, acknowledge the importance of fostering inclusion and their existing challenges, emphasizing the need to overcome systematic barrier. This is very important. Number two, diversity drives creativity and innovation, right? So giving diverse, voices a platform leads to idea and also increased innovation. Like I made mention of how giving voices to, all of these groups or in the represented group or your community members from different backgrounds significantly contribute to increased innovation and also ideas. Number three is we discuss ways to build like inclusive community, like promoting equal representation, right? And also fostering um, open dialogue and offering mentorship despite challenges, right? These are things that you need to keep doing. These are things that you need to think about when you're building a community or you're leading a community, either you're volunteering or it's a community that you own. You need to have this envision in your mindset, right? Another one, which is like personally, is that I envision a future with inclusive community that value technology, right, and diversity, and where we all can contribute to equal opportunities by challenging biases, right? This is something I understand that would work over time if we all put in our best to, contribute to this inclusiveness within the community, and not just contribute, but offering diverse voices for creativity and innovation within our community, within our society, within our school, within our environment, and within our country, within our continent at large, and also globally. So thank you. Question and answer session is coming up next. If you have any, of course, I'll be happy for them. And then thank you very much. So I created this QR code. Feel free to scan and then give a feedback on how this session helped you. Thank you very much. It takes less than 1 minute to fill the survey. Thank you very much for having me.
Olubisi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can no longer hear you. I'm not sure if I'm the only one. Can anyone hear me? Maybe Aziz or Daniel. Can you unmute your mic and say something?
Yes, we can hear you. Sorry, my network was a bit poor.
Yeah, my
Okay.
network went.
Okay,
Uh,
fine.
yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Idris Olubisi. That was an eye opener, and I made sure I took notes because it was more or less like free expo to the community management field. So, well, before I proceed with my own, I would like anybody that has any questions can just signify in the chat box, and we would pass you the mic, and you can say your question, or you can just type it in the chat box, and we would read it out, and Mr. Idris will get to it. While we wait for that, I'll just drop a few of the things I learned, and just ask one of my questions, because from the start, okay, the ever-present question in programs like this: can we get the slides? So,
Yeah, sure.
then,
Definitely.
so there's,
I would just share the link to the site right now. Give me a second.
thank you so much. So yeah, sure, we are getting our slides. So I hope you guys scanned the QR code and gave your feedback. If you have not, we would bring it up on the screen again so that you can scan it and drop your feedback. Yeah. So yeah, this was a really interesting and educating session, especially we're talking about inclusion. Inclusion, bringing people together, making sure nobody's left out. Things like that. And for a country that we are in, we have a lot of diversity, religion, tribes, education, wealth status, and all of that. So it is important to foster inclusive communities, because, like Mr. Idris said, a group composed of diverse people, people with diverse backgrounds and all of that, tend to be more productive. That's because they have different outlook on life, and they are all coming from different areas, and they can they can drop expo from their experience. Not everybody has the same experience because they're from different background. So it helps them get a bigger picture on the whole thing, and that makes sense, and it's amazing. Then the strategies for successfully building an inclusive community, also those will come in handy. Actively seeking diverse perspectives, community yeah, inclusion requires action at all levels. Yeah, then the problems that we're facing also, and this is where my question comes in. Like we discussed a good number of the slides touched on two things: bias and prejudice. So, what is an effective way that you think will work in avoiding bias and prejudice as community managers, or as core team members of community management teams? You mentioned already some things to reduce bias, like encouraging everyone to challenge their bias, and actively seeking out diverse perspectives and utilization of tech. You just need a what is a personal way you have gone about it, facing and dealing with bias and prejudice in your team and your community?
Yeah, I think the first question is that, do you understand biasness exists within within your community? That's number one. Before you even start to think about fixing it, have you ever think of inclusion within your community in any way? So, like you have a community, men, like a male and female, you have a community where people come from like different states, different background, and all of those things. Have you ever think about it in the first place? Sorry, please, can you mute your mic first?
Okay.
It's kind of echoing. Okay, yeah, thank you. So, have you ever thought about it first? That's number one. Then, if yes, we can now start talking about, okay, how can I fix this problem? In fact, it could even be that there are some things you can do yourself, but because of inclusion, you can delegate it for somebody to do it within, maybe somebody with different background. You can let them do it on their own, right? So that way you can talk about it, like you can be proud to carry out all of these activities with that person. And also that also give that person a sense of belonging, despite the fact that the person know that you guys are not from the same background, but still you still went ahead and delegate tasks to them to understand that, okay, you need to lead this thing, and this, if you need any help, let me know. So that way you can fix all of these problem, or like these challenges, or like trying to foster that inclusivity within your community to some people that are within or outside your region. So I don't mean because you want to delegate tasks, you don't delegate to somebody that does not have time, or somebody that is not willing or capable of doing it. But yeah, you can't know if somebody is capable of doing it without giving it a try, right? Or without seeing some sort of commitment or potential on what they can do. But that way, if you give it a try, if they were able to do it, it means a win-win for you. They were able to do it, and also now they feel some sort of belonging, of being a part of that community, or being a part of that organization, or being a part of that group or team. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That answers my question and offers me a technique, to go about dealing with bias and prejudice in community management and all of that. So thank you so much for that. Abdul Salam sent a question to the chat box. Sorry that. It says, "Hi, Mr. Idris. Good evening. Thanks for all you shared today. My question is about platforms communities are based on. I am a Web3 person, and many Web3 communities are based on either Discord or Telegram. How important is the platform when building an inclusive community?"
How important? Sorry, can you come again, please?
Okay, so it says he's a Web3 person, and many Web3 communities are based on either Discord or Telegram. Now, the question is, how important is the platform that the community will be based on when building an inclusive community?
Oh yeah, it's very important, but this is like different preference, right? Some people would say, depending on the community itself, right? Some people would prefer, I want to have my community on this platform because of this reason, and this other person would say, I want to have my community on this platform because of that reason. So there are always like different reasons of choosing the platform that you want to use. So the most important thing is for you to understand first, like, where your members are coming from. When you understand where your members are coming from, you can also understand which platform you think would be best for them, and also which platform will be useful for you to control as the owner of the community. So if it is Telegram that works for you, fine. If it is Discord, but if it is WhatsApp community, or in fact, if it is a Twitter community that you think your audience are, then you can just go ahead, because it is very, very important to know where your audience are coming from, and also what actually works for you as the community founder or the community manager. In fact, you can start up a community of Slack and you realize that, oh, okay, Slack is not really solving the problem. Maybe we might need to migrate. You understand? So when you understand that you might need to migrate, it means that you've identified where your audience is coming from, and that way you can easily tell like the platform to select or the platform you can actually manage. So this is a little bit controversial because some people won't take it from the angle of the platform I can manage. Some would say it is coming where a platform I can manage or a platform I can get to manage very easy. So they won't trying to look where the audience is coming from or not. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I just shared the speaker deck also. You can check it out.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. I believe that should answer his question. Abdul Salam, we would like to hear from you in the chat box if that answered your question. Okay, he said thanks, sir. So the next question in the chat box is, how can community managers collaborate with other organizations or community leaders to create a more inclusive ecosystem for creativity and innovation?
Yeah, that's like pretty straightforward. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. There are several ways that you can relate, but I think the most recommended way is for you to reach out. You need to reach out. So, for example, you have an activity, you have something coming up, and you like to get like insight from other community. You can just reach out to their leads, right? Most of the community I've seen, right, either Web3 or not, they are always open to collaboration. So if you reach out to them Twitter, their Twitter and they do not respond, you reach out to them on LinkedIn and do not respond, you can find somebody that knows somebody, right? You can find somebody within your network. You can, ask that you like to speak to, a community manager somewhere, and people would refer to you like who you can actually reach out to and who are the go-to person when it comes to that community. Of course, you need to also do your own research. From your own research, you should see maybe from the websites who are the community manager, or from their Twitter space, or from something, just to know who are their community managers and how you can reach out to them easily to get those, that kind of collaboration.
All right, thank you so much, sir. I think that answered Deborah's question. To add a little bit to that, CMX also serves as a community of communities, community for community managers, community professionals, community experts. So it serves as a hub for community managers and people in that same field. So it's another avenue for you to collaborate and meet with other community managers also. So the next question here from Amina says, how can community leaders turn setbacks into opportunities for growth and improvement in terms of inclusivity?
Sorry, can you come again?
Okay. So Amina says, so she asks that, how can community leaders turn setbacks into opportunities for growth and improvement in terms of inclusivity?
So for opportunities and inclusion in terms of so we can actually, how can community leaders turn setbacks into opportunities? So there are so many ways you can turn setbacks, right? So practically for me, let me just give one example, something that worked for me when I was trying to, connect like existing community and all of that. After reaching out, I didn't get like a green light. Then I went back to my drawing board. Now think of how I can attract people. So that's one thing. For you to reach out is one thing. The second thing is for you to attract them. So attracting people in this case means that what are you doing that you are doing really well that you need to put out there for people to know that you exist? So once you figure it out, you can pin like this is what I'm doing, and keep doing it. Don't worry, when you keep doing it, they start noticing all of these activities that you are doing. Either it's a Twitter space, either it's a workshop, either it's anything, or community activities like this that you're doing. Keep doing it, right? When you get to a stage where you will now reach out to them and they'll be like, oh yeah, I think I've seen this before. Okay, let's talk. Or they will be the ones to reach out and say, hey, we've been seeing what you are doing within your community. Can we collaborate, or can we find a way to interact, or can we have some sort of partnership? And that could actually lead to like creativity within the space, or like improvement in terms of inclusivity, right? And in fact, you might even end up sharing ideas that would really help you for you to make sure that the underrepresented group within your community are heard. Imagine you kind of make a collaboration with like an open source community, and because open source community by default they have this inclusivity all around, and they talk about inclusion a lot, right? So making collaboration to that with that kind of insight on how to handle all of those things, win-win for you, because now you know your audience, you are doing your job well, you have that partnership discussion, and then you are good to go. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much for that, sir. We'll be rounding up now. I just want to confirm if you can take one more question, or if we can proceed from here because of your time.
Yes, so I think if there are any other questions, you can tweet at me or like DM, because I need to like drop off right now. Yeah.
No problem. So thank you guys so much for joining again to me, Idris. Thank you, Abdulaziz. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Itman. Oh, sorry, not tweet your question. X your questions to him. Yeah, so that is that, and we'll be closing the session here.